It's the Eddie Summer Show with Jeff Kirkshin and Donnie and Shannon. And our very special guest this morning is Dan Trachtenberg.
Yeah!
You've got a movie coming out which looks crazy to me.
It is crazy.
So I have to admit, like, I haven't been following along with all the Predator movies, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize there are so many of them.
Yeah.
But you have the latest one, and
Yeah.
you've done the last few, right?
Yeah, I've done 2 before.
Okay.
And one was an anthology, which is like 4
Okay.
in one. So I've done quite a bit. And there's no, funny enough, all 3 of those, or 3 now, require no homework. You do not have to have seen any other Predator movie to get all that you need
They're
out
like
of them.
standalones.
They're like standalone. I mean, certainly if you've seen other Predator films, there's a lot more for you to get out of it all, but there's no narrative need to have seen any other
It's
movie.
like watching a network show.
Yep.
You don't have to
Right,
follow the whole series.
right.
You can just pop in and see the one.
And aren't we in an age where like TV kind of feels like homework?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
best TV,
Oh
even the
my
best
gosh.
things, feels like, man, I got to do my homework tonight and get through this. Or you feel like you have to have seen this show in order to have seen that movie.
Right.
So we purposely wanted to make sure that this was not the case for Predator Badlands.
I love that. And so I have to say, the first Predator was with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
And that was a million years ago.
Yeah.
And you are
Well,
not
40.
old enough to
Yeah.
have been like
Yeah.
directing then.
No.
So how did you get interested in this and all of
I
that?
think like all kids who see the trailer for an R-rated movie are desperate and to see it. And I actually was have this vivid memory of being in a carpool on the way to a karate tournament, and all the 6th graders had seen Predator and described the movie to me beat for beat. So the first time I saw it was in my own imagination.
Right.
And then when I eventually did see it, the thing that blew me away, like everyone else, was that it was this crazy combination of genres. I never saw a movie that started out like this Arnold military action film and then became a slasher movie and a science fiction film. And so that's the thing that we've really tried to shake up as much as could, is letting every other movie be as surprising as Predator was and be a crazy concoction of genres.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Elle Fanning is in this one.
And
Is
Elle
she
Fanning,
in any of the others?
she's in none of the others.
Okay,
She's an
I love
absolute
her.
delight.
Yeah.
Yes. She's a delight to work with. She's a delight in the movie. She's the opposite of who you think would be tethered to the back of a ferocious monster like the Predator, and that's what makes it so cool and so fun.
'Cause she's fierce. I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, she's no
Oh,
joke.
she throws down too. Yeah. She throws down. Yeah.
So you grew up in the Philadelphia area, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Philly connection in a minute. But were you the kind of kid that was grabbing a video camera and directing since as long as you can remember? Like when it was on tape and
Yes.
like pause and record, and that was the only way you could edit was if you just shot it live?
Yeah, and there was a special moment that blew all my friends' minds when I realized I could take the yellow cable out and take the red and white from a boombox or my portable CD player and plug that into the camcorder and then create soundtracks. So we were tethered to whatever it was when we hit record, and it made it feel like an actual movie. And I did that with the movies I would make with action figures and my friends, and blew all their minds.
Donnie is blown away just by that as an
Like,
adult.
oh, I can
right
do
now.
that now?
I didn't know that.
I mean,
now,
that-
now I'm going home
You
and
can't
doing
unfortunately do that with USB
I
or
know.
whatever it is,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up loving movies and didn't realize how lucky I was to be living in a metropolitan area like Philly, where I could get access to like Hong Kong action movies and things from other places that I would not have been the case, and that all that really fueled the fires for me of becoming a filmmaker.
That's really cool.
Did you follow in anyone's footsteps like in M. Night Shyamalan? Because he's from the Philadelphia area.
I loved his movies so much. Signs is actually one of my favorite movies of all time. I will defend anyone who takes any issue with any element of that movie. But I loved John G. Avildsen. He's not from the area, but he certainly made one of the iconic movies from here. And
Who is that and what did he make?
John G.
Sorry.
Avildsen did Rocky, but he also did The Karate
okay.
Kid, which was
I've heard of
just
those.
really seminal for
Big
me.
move.
I know this.
And John Woo made a huge impression. Once again, not from here, but when I spoke about Hong Kong action movies, that was what the moment people had watching Star Wars, like the generation above me, that moment for me was watching Hard Boiled and seeing a guy with two guns sliding down a banister, and that real operatic style of action that moved the way that no movie I had seen, moved like before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the idea that you were interested in movies from a young age.
Yeah.
You started creating movies and films and things like that at a young age. You got really creative. Where did you go to school? How did you always know that this is what you wanted to be, or were you on a path to do something else and then you're like, I'm just gonna try to take my shot here?
I mean, there was a brief moment in time where I thought maybe I would draw comics. I loved comic books, and I just am a horrible artist. So that's where directing came in. Oh, I can just push people where to go, and
Right.
and then I don't have to draw them. So I went to Temple and went to film school there, and learned how to do it a little bit, and then went out to LA and really worked in the business to learn it, and went from there. Yeah.
One of
That's
my,
amazing.
and this is true, 10 Cloverfield Lane is one of my favorite movies. And that was your directorial debut.
Yeah.
So here I am getting ready, for this interview, as
Sure.
you do, Andie, getting prepped. I had no idea. I love this movie. It's so
Oh.
fantastic. John Goodman is unbelievable in it. The whole story is great. I love the sci-fi, the whole world of that. Then I find out it's the first movie
Yeah.
you directed.
Yeah.
And it was this pretty big hit. And
Yeah.
one of my favorites. Was that for you stepping on to set as the director for the very first time on a major motion picture? Was it nervous? Was it excitement? Was
Right,
it
I mean,
all
you
of
had
the
to
above?
be all of the
Yeah.
things.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was all the things, but also it was what I realized how comfortable I was doing it. And I have to tell you, one of my favorite moments in making a movie started on Cloverfield Lane, because yes, I had some friends that I would rope into making movies as a kid, but it was hard. And I was not super into sports and like other kids that I grew up around, and so it was like a challenge to rope them or my sister into making something. And sitting around the room with a bunch of grown men and women taking make-believe very seriously.
Yeah.
In Cloverfield Lane, we're talking about creature things and just stuff that is pure cinema. And we're doing it for a living.
And they want to be
And
there.
they want to be
right?
there.
As
and they
opposed to
would,
you having to coach
I
them.
get
Yeah.
emotional when two people on the crew start arguing with each other about something that's going to be great either way,
Yeah.
but they care that much that they're getting into a debate about it. And I didn't have to beg them to do it. They want to do it to make
Yeah.
the thing cool. Really gets me in the plucks the heartstrings.
Oh, I love that.
How hard was it for you directing somebody like John Goodman, who I imagine is great to work with, but you were what, 35 ish?
Yeah.
Give or take?
Yeah.
Directing actors and actresses that have been doing it maybe as long as you've been alive. That must have been a difficult experience, but also a learning one.
His character is incredibly intimidating. So there definitely were moments where I was tiptoeing onto set, and but he was a super sweet dude. Not
I've heard
just
nothing
with
but
me.
great things
Yeah,
about him.
even with the
Exactly.
crew, he would joke around and he'd be joking 1 second, and in a millisecond, he'd be in character, super scary. And he was very differential. He really, I thought I would just be coasting on all of his instincts, but he really was very encouraging and asked to be directed quite a bit.
Wow, that's
amazing.
so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be intimidating, like we
Yeah.
said, all the things, right?
Yeah.
All the things. And you're there because you love it. So you're excited to do it. But also as a director, I find it interesting because you didn't write it. So
Yeah.
it's someone else's vision, but you're making it come to life. So is the writer kind of hovering, or is every writer different?
No, at least with me, and every director is different, but I really need the thing to feel personal to me, to care as much as to go through the entire process and to pour it out into the world. So I tend to collaborate pretty heavily with the writer, and that script came to me as one thing, and then I worked with some other writers to develop it even further and to turn it into something that had a little bit more of humor to it, and even ratcheting up the tension quite a bit more than was there on the page. So you do kind of work on the page first,
Right.
and then think about how to adapt that visually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from a writer's standpoint, I would think it would be difficult to like create this thing, sell it at like, okay, this is going to be a movie, but here you take it and make
Yeah.
it different
Yeah.
somehow,
It's a different
right? Like, it's gotta be
process.
weird.
It's very different. You are not. It's a similar. I was talking about this with someone else, also about music as well, and all things in movies. It's very collaborative. When you're writing a book, that is what your words are the end medium. They are the
Right.
end format
Right.
for it. A screenplay is a blueprint. It is the idea, ideas for what it's a guess.
Mhm.
I'm guessing that this is what should be said now. I'm guessing that this is where characters should walk around. And then on set, it's another guess.
Right.
I'm guessing that this is actually where things should be. And oh, wow, wait, there's a building right there. That means I can't put the camera in this place or whatever. And then in post-production, when we're editing the movie, it's our third guess. I think this is how things should be put together.
Yeah.
And you really rely on your craft. I do a lot of thriller, horror things. And it's not scary when you're reading it or writing it on the page. It's definitely not scary on set when you're shooting it and there's a bunch of crew smoking with lights and whatever.
Right.
And it's not scary when you're putting it together and you've seen it a million times. You only find out if you've done your job when an audience finally sees it. And so you really have to rely on the craft, on knowing the movie math of how long to hold on a shot until the thing shows up, on staging a frame so that there's a lot of negative space so that the audience anticipates something's going to show up in that corner and then
Right.
it does or doesn't or any of those things. So it's a really challenging process, very different from just writing.
It would
Yeah.
be like being a chef and not tasting anything before you give
Right.
it to a guest.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yes. David
Very-
Fincher has a quote about like directing is like holding a paintbrush that is 50 yards long with a canvas that is 5 feet
Yeah.
wide across the street with a walkie-talkie. So yes, it's very challenging.
wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the
bravo.
movie Predator
you.
Badlands comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is so exciting. So everybody head to the theaters. It seems like a movie you got to see in theaters.